All right, today we're going to tackle something that is right at the heart of any great essay, the thesis statement. We're going to break down how to build a really powerful one using a simple but super effective technique.
You know that feeling, right? You sit down to write, you've got all these great ideas, but that first paragraph, it just feels like this impossible mountain to climb. Believe me, we've all been there. It's one of the most common struggles in writing. But what if I told you there's a simple formula to get you past it every single time?
Here's the key. We have to completely change how we think about the thesis statement. It's not some barrier you have to get over. It's actually a helpful guide that you create. It tells your reader exactly where you're going, what they can expect, and why they should come along for the ride. It's basically your essay's North Star.
So how do we create that roadmap? Well, we're going to use something called the funnel method, and the name really says it all. We start with a big general idea, and then we slowly, carefully narrow our focus down until we land on one sharp, specific point. And that point is our thesis. This whole method really just breaks down into 3 easy steps. First, you're going to start broad with something called a declarative sentence. Second, you narrow things down by connecting your main ideas. And third, you state your thesis. That's your main argument. That's it. That is the entire structure for your introduction. So what is this declarative sentence anyway? It's really just a simple statement of fact. It's not your opinion, and it's not an argument yet. It's just a general truth that kind of sets the scene for your topic and gently welcomes the reader in. Okay, let's look at a few examples so you can see what I mean. Education requires both knowledge and skill development. See? It's simple, it's true, and it opens the door for a more specific conversation. The other examples here do the exact same thing. They're just broad, factual starting points at the top of our funnel.
Okay, so we've got our broad opening. How do we start to narrow down? Well, this is where the next crucial piece comes in. I like to call it the power of 3. This little trick is the secret to giving your essay a really clear, solid structure from the very beginning.
Yep, 3. That's the magic number. So why 3? Well, it just works. It creates a sense of balance and completeness for the human brain. It's not too little information, and it's not too much to remember. It's just the perfect number of points to build a strong, convincing argument.
So here's why this rule of 3 is so incredibly useful. First, it gives you a clear structure for your essay. These 3 points will become your 3 body paragraphs. Second, it acts like a signpost for your reader, telling them what's coming next. And finally, it just makes your whole argument feel really organized and easy to follow.
And where does this all-important sentence go? Always, always at the end of your intro paragraph. After you started broad and narrowed your focus with those 3 points, you land on the thesis. It's the final, confident statement of your introduction that delivers your main argument with absolute clarity. All right, theory is one thing, but let's actually see this in action. We're going to build a funnel introduction right now, from scratch, step by step. This way, you can see exactly how all these pieces fit together to create a perfect, seamless opening. Okay, here we go. Step 1 is that broad, declarative sentence. For example, university success depends on multiple personal and academic skills. See how broad that is? We're not arguing anything yet. We're just stating a fact that most people would agree with to set the stage. Now for step 2, where we narrow that funnel. We're going to connect that big idea to our specific topics. So we add this sentence. Among these skills, the ability to plan, manage time, and seek feedback effectively are crucial. And just like that, we've used our rule of 3 and pointed our reader exactly where we want them to go. And finally, step 3, we land on the thesis statement. We take those 3 points and we lock them into our formal argument. This essay argues that planning, time management, and feedback seeking are the key skills students need to succeed in university. It's clear, it's specific, and it perfectly wraps up our funnel introduction. And what's really important here is the flow. See how it's a totally logical progression? We go from a general idea to a very specific argument. Each sentence just naturally builds on the one before it. There are no weird jumps, just a smooth, focused journey for your reader. Okay, let's do one more example just to make sure this is crystal clear. This time, we'll use the funnel method for the topic of learning a new language. You'll see the structure is exactly the same. So here you can see the whole method laid out nice and clean. We start broad, learning a second language improves many skills. Easy enough. Then we narrow down with our rule of 3, vocabulary development, speaking practice, and grammar mastery. And then we land on our thesis, which formally states that those 3 things are what the essay is all about. It's a perfect funnel every time. Okay, but
Before we finish up, I want to give you a simple checklist. Think of these as the golden rules to make sure every single thesis statement you write is strong, clear, and does its job perfectly. Let's just run through these real quick. First, make it one sentence, no more. Second, always include 3 supporting points. That's our rule of 3. Third, try to use what's called parallel structure. That just means your points have a similar grammatical rhythm, like planning, managing, and seeking. It sounds so much cleaner. Fourth, keep your language clear and formal. And finally, avoid personal phrases like I think or I believe. Your thesis is an argument you're going to prove.
And here's the real payoff. Once you've written a great thesis statement, your essay is practically outlined for you. Your first point becomes the topic of your first body paragraph, your second point is for your second paragraph, and your third point is for your third. Your roadmap is officially complete.
So the next time you're staring at that blank page, you won't feel stuck. You have the funnel, you have the rule of 3, and you have a clear, reliable method for building a powerful introduction. The roadmap is in your hands. So the only question left is, where will you begin?